Hey everyone, welcome to the Live Magic Q&A tea party. I don't even have any tea. That's how disorganized I am. I have nothing. So we'll have imaginary tea with me today. This week's, this is the Live Magic Q&A tea party with me, your host, Madame Pamita. And it takes place every Sunday. We meet live, a whole group of us meet live on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. We record this as a live free Zoom meeting every Sunday and then post the recording later on in the week for a rewatch on YouTube. If you're watching a replay of this on YouTube or anywhere else and you want to be in the Spell Squad, the super secret clubhouse that we meet here on the Sundays, it's not that hard to do. You can come here, be with us live, ask your questions about magic, law of attraction, spiritualism, tarot, spirit guides, divination spells, or any other magical thing that myself or my guests know about. And then you can be here with us. It's a very easy thing to do. All you have to do is go to spellsquad.com and sign up. If you sign up, you'll get a link to join us on Sunday at those times, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you'll also get a free copy of my ebook, 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work, which is a great resource if you're doing spell work. It talks about all different kinds of spell work, incense spells, candle spells, how to get in the right frame of mind for spell work, what to do if your spells go wrong. It's a very, very useful book. You'll get that for free if you join the Spell Squad. So it's your little bonus. You can, if you're wondering who I am, I'm Madame Pamita, and I am the guest today. It's just me today. It's like the olden days. It's just going to be me answering your questions. No interview part, no guests. So it's just going to be me and you. And if you want to know who I am, you can find me online at parlorwonders.com. That's my website where I sell candles, oils, and magical supplies of all kinds. I've got tons and tons and tons of resources on that site. For learning about magic, you know, how-to guides, videos, all kinds of things, a blog, all kinds of things. You can also find me on my podcast, which is called Magic and the Law of Attraction. And you can find that by going to magicandthelawofattraction.com, which will take you over to my site, to the podcast page, or you can find it on Stitcher and iTunes and Spotify and all those places that you usually find podcasts. I'm an author as well. I have a book out called Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot. You can also pre-order my book called The Book of Candle Magic, which is coming out in October. Oh, you guys, I'll show it to you next week. I'm so excited. It's on my kitchen table in the other room. The new Llewellyn catalog came out, and it has a big full-page thing about my book, which is so exciting. So the book is coming out in October. It's called The Book of Candle Magic. It's an amazing resource that's going to cover everything you ever wanted to know about candle magic, including how to read candles, how to fix candles that are not working or not burning correctly. What does it mean when your candle is burning really slowly, for example, or how to set up a candle for a spell where you want to use color and numbers and herbs and all kinds of different things to help support your candle magic. It's an amazing book. I'm super proud of it. And you guys are going to go cuckoo for it because it tells you, it's like downloading everything in my brain about candle magic into one book that you can look at, and you can look everything up, and it is a great resource. If I say so myself, it is like no other candle magic book out there. You're going to love it. You can pre-order it on my site, which is parlorwonders.com, but you can also pre-order it on Amazon. You can call your local bookstore. Your local bookstore needs you right now. Call them up and pre-order through them. See if they do shipping. I know our local bookstore in LA, one of my favorite bookstores is Stories Books, and they're taking pre-orders. You just go online, you pre-order it, and they can have it for you. And you can either, if you're in LA, you can drive by and they can, you know, give it to you through the window or door or something, or you can have it shipped to you. So there's lots of ways that you can pre-order it. And if you do that, you're really supporting magical books. You're supporting me making more content for you, and you're supporting our bookstores if you order through a local indie bookstore. So I really encourage you to do that if you're so inclined, if you have a local indie bookstore. I also have a couple blogs. My blog, which doesn't really have a name, Magic Blog, I call it. You can find that on my website under instruction. It has great articles. I also have a blog on Patheos Pagan. It's called Baba Yaga's Cottage, which is it's a blog about Slavic magic. And I've got a couple articles up there. It's my newest baby right now, which is that is the thing that I'm working on. So you can check that out by going to Baba Yaga's Cottage, BABAYAGAS cottage.com. Baba Yaga is the witch in the fairy tales, the Russian and Slavic fairy tales, Ukrainian fairy tales. So you can really learn more about her and learn more about Slavic magic on that blog. Anything else? Oh, I have a YouTube channel, lots of videos on my YouTube channel. You just type in Madame Pamita and everything will pop up. I also have a channel there too. Teach about tarot and magic and candle magic and hoodoo and all kinds of things over there. All right, I think that does it for me talking about me. Let's talk about your questions about magic, spiritualism, divination, spirit guides. I've got tons of articles on my blog about spirit guides. I talk a lot about spirit guides on my blog, how to connect with them, how to communicate with them and all that. But anyway, it's all up for grabs today. So let me see, everybody's saying hi, hello, hello, hello. Lots of highs. You can say hi to everybody. It's great to see you guys over here, and everybody else likes to see everybody else, I know. Okay, all right, Bradley has a question. Hi, Pamita. I was wondering if you might give your experience with magical burnout. I've been feeling so disconnected and need some renewal. Quarantine hasn't been helpful. I love this question. Oh my God, I love this question. So magical burnout during this time, as we're dealing with these very big changes and lots of energy out there, you know, this magical burnout is real. This is not something that is probably exclusive to you, Bradley. I think a lot of people are experiencing a lot of different things during this time. One of the things that I've been telling people, keep getting that message for myself, and I keep getting the message to share it with other people, is the importance of psychic hygiene, right? If you know, I think it's so important that we wash our hands, that we do social distancing, that we don't go crazy and go hang out at the beach like a bunch of people were doing here in Southern California yesterday, which is dismaying to me. But the social distancing, the washing the hands, the wearing the masks, all of those things are really important. But equally important is your psychic hygiene. So what do I mean by psychic hygiene? Psychic hygiene means be careful what you let into your consciousness. Not that you have to be 100% pristine, but I think that we can have real burnout and real overload, and especially the people who are empaths. And that's probably a lot of you are empaths. You pick up on other people's energy, you pick up on energy out in the world. And right now there is a lot of energy out there, a lot of energy, and most of it is not very good. So psychic hygiene means putting up boundaries on what you take into your consciousness and what you take into your sphere, whether that's your physical sphere or your energetic sphere. If you are doing like I did last week and looking at a bunch of news stories and then have a big news story hangover where you don't feel like getting up out of bed because you're feeling really scared or fearful or dismayed, you're not going to be able to do magic from that place. Your magic isn't, you don't have the energy to do magic. Fear will drain you and burn you out. I mean, it's not, I would say it's not really burnout. Burnout implies that you're doing a lot and you're excited about it. And then you're doing a lot. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing too much. I feel like this is more like a deluge of depressive energy, which is different than burnout. Burnout means like I'm really working hard and I'm just working so hard that I maxed myself out. This feels, I mean, I'm not going to say, Bradley, this isn't, maybe you are, maybe that is the case for you. But I think for a lot of people, it's more like a depressive energy, a sad energy, a fearful energy, a despair. And those emotions are actually the lowest vibration emotions. Fear, despair, those are the lowest emotions. Anger is actually a step up from that emotion. But the despair or feeling depressed or feeling fearful is the lowest. So we got a lot of that out there. So you have to limit your exposure to it. For me, well, for every one of us, we have to look and see in our interactions with the outside world, we have to draw good boundaries. And we have to acknowledge and pay attention to what we can handle and what we can't handle. So for me, I can't do a lot of news. If I for sure can't look at the news. Like watching the news is absolutely a no-go. I can dip into a little bit of written news, but I have to be super picky and super careful. If I am dipping too much into it, like I did the other day, and then I start to feel, whoa, and I can't be of service to my clients and I can't do magic from that place. I feel very unmotivated for all of it. So I do a cleanse, I do a little bath, I do my cleansing work. You can smudge, you can burn incense, you can take a bath. There's lots of things that you can do to cleanse. Get some good sleep, watch a happy, funny movie, do those things that sort of balance it out and give you some distance from it. And draw a good boundary for yourself. Like I know that it's not good for me. So I have to replace it with something else. So what have I done instead? Doing a gratitude journal every day. I'm working on my new book that's going to be, the manuscript's due in September. So I'm working on my new book. I'm doing some reading. I'm dipping into Facebook a little bit, but my dip into Facebook and Instagram is minimal right now because, and I'm muting or snoozing anybody that's posting stuff that's too depressing for me. Don't have to see them for 30 days. That's the way I draw my boundary. But everyone's boundary is different. I can't say that's the right level of boundary for you or not. You have to check in with yourself. For example, my boyfriend, he's fine with watching the news. It doesn't affect him. And it's great for me because he can tell me the important news stories and I can just, skip having to watch it. And when I say to him, when I hear it from you, it doesn't sound so bad. So he's like my perfect newscaster, right? I love him. So that's a way you can kind of judge for yourself what's good for you. For him, he has no problem with watching the news. He's such a level-headed Taurus. It doesn't faze him. For me, I'm an emotional sponge Cancer, and that's too much for me. So you check in with you and look at your psychic hygiene and look at where you have to do more or put up a better, stronger boundary, or where you don't want to bring in people, sources of information or whatever that make you feel low vibration. I watch a lot of comedies at night. I do those sorts of things. I pay attention. And when I pay attention to my psychic hygiene, I am much more effective as a spiritual worker, helping people out, doing those things that I have to show up for. So hopefully that will help you. So feeling so disconnected and needing some renewal. So connection, find for your psychic hygiene, Bradley, it's like, where can I find connections that are helpful? I will tell you this, I've started doing with my friends, my personal friends, a little Zoom happy hour once a week where we all get together for like an hour. We chit chat. This is my music friends. We chit chat about what's going on in our lives. We talk, we share, we meet, and we hang out. It's a really lovely, fun hangout. It's a really lovely thing. I just sort of initiated that. So maybe there's something that you can initiate with Zoom or something else where you can talk to people. House party is another one that people like. I have gone into house party once or twice, a couple of times, but I think Zoom has better sound. So I've tended to lean towards Zoom. Plus anybody can do it without downloading an app. So yeah. So, and taking a cleansing bath. I have a video on showing you how to do a bath. Handful of sea salt, handful of Epsom salt, add some spiritual oils, some herbs to that, and take that bath to cleanse away your fear, cleanse away your anxiety, and that can be super helpful. All right, let's see. Jenner has a question. I need a good hoodoo spell to break through all these obstacles. Well, let's talk about spells of obstacle spells, or how to deal with obstacles and how to break through. There's two oils that most hoodoo practitioners use. One is called Road Opener, and the other one is called Blockbuster. I have Open Roads instead of Road Opener on my site. I call it Open Roads because it's more, actually more to the original. Abre Camino was the open road Open Roads is the Open Road is the direct translation. Open the road, open road. So I called mine Open Roads. So Open Roads or Road Opener oil and Blockbuster oil. Those are two oils that, and I love oils because they're so versatile. If you go onto my website, you look under instruction, you look under how-to guides, there's an oil how-to guide. And that oil how-to guide explains a dozen different ways or more of using oils in your magical work. Oils are cost effective. Like my oils are like $12. They're not expensive, and they can be used so many ways. They can be put on your body. They can be put on a candle. They can be put on something that someone else will touch. They can be put on anything that's plastic or metal. They can be turned into a room spray. I mean, there's at least a dozen ways that you can do it, if not more. So oils like Road Opener or Open Roads and Blockbuster are really great for removing blocks, but they have two different energies. You have to assess in your situation what you're experiencing to know whether you're going to use a Road Opener working or a Blockbuster working. Open Roads energy is to like move aside any blocks, to like open up the space for you to move through very quickly and very easily, right? It's not harsh. It's just pushing aside the blocks, right? I always say, if you're not sure which one to use, start with the Road Opener or start with Open Roads, because it's just an energy of like, oh, I'm going to clear the space for something good to come to me, my opportunities to come to me, or my path to be super clear. Blockbuster has a different energy. Blockbuster is explosive. Blockbuster has an energy of, it can be a bit more kind of like blasting through something. So if you are facing really hard, heavy, resistant blocks, then Blockbuster is the perfect thing. But there's a sort of something that can happen with Blockbuster, because it's like that. There can sometimes be rubble that needs to be cleaned up afterwards. There can sometimes be this thing of like, oh, wow, that really opened up, and now I've got to fix this little thing over here and fix this thing over here. So I don't recommend starting with Blockbuster unless you are for sure feeling like this is not moving and it's really stuck. I always say start with the Open Roads or start with Road Opener. See if you can't push that step aside and then get things going. And if that doesn't work, or you're still meeting that block, then you know you've got a big brick wall in front of you. You need to bring in the dynamite. You need to bring in Blockbuster. So how can you do it? You can use that oil in any way. You can put it on a candle. Orange candles are really good for that energy of opening up opportunities, moving things aside, opening roads, and so on. So you can do an orange candle, dress it with a Road Opener or Open Roads oil or Blockbuster oil, depending on your situation. That's a super simple spell for opening up your situation. Of course, you can use this oil on a candle that corresponds to your situation. So if your situation is a resistance in love, for example, you could use a red or a pink candle. If your resistance in job or money, you could use a green or a yellow candle. So those are the ways you can combine the energy of the Open Roads or the Blockbuster with your intention of the topic, you know, so you can bring the color in to show the topic and the oil in to show what you want to do with around that topic. You want it to open up. All right. Okay. Emily has a question. I recently received a candle magic kit from you and performed the spell a couple of weeks ago. Any tips on when, if it might become effective, or anything I can do to help it along? It's a come to me spell. All right. So if you look at my website under instruction, I have how-to guides. Those are more detailed information, not quite a book length, but, you know, probably a flyer of a couple pages. Maybe it would be a zine length, you know. So I have an oil how-to guide. I have a sachet powder how-to guide. I've got a bath crystals how-to guide. I've got a personal concerns how-to guide, even something I don't sell. Personal concerns are things that are off your body, but teaching you information about these things. There is a candle how-to guide, and the candle how-to guide is probably the longest one because there's a lot of information about candles. In fact, so much I wrote a book about it. So If you go to that candle how-to guide and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you will see information about what do I do with my candle remains, how do I interpret those remains, I think it's in there, a little bit about that, and also when do I see my results. So with a candle spell, see, a candle spell is a different kind of spell because it's opening up a big rocket of power toward one goal. It's like pushing it really strongly. Has a different energy than something like a honey jar or something like a mojo bag or something like a spell where you're doing something over time every day until you get the result. So if you're doing one of those spells like a mojo bag or honey jar, you're doing that spell in the mojo bag, you're carrying the mojo bag until you get the result, right? So you just do it every day until you get the result. With your specific case, Emily, I don't know because I don't know what your situation is. I don't know how blocked this relationship is. A come to me spell, for example, if you're using the come to me spell to get somebody to move across the country to see you, it's probably going to take some time just because of the material world situation. Flights are limited. It's not recommended that you go on a flight. Hard to get a new apartment closer to you. You know, people aren't showing apartments. So there's some real world stuff out there that's maybe preventing that, but I don't know what your situation is. So if you're doing a come to me spell to get someone's affection, the first thing you have to note, or any candle spell, let's just say any across the board, any candle spell. The first thing you have to note is you're going to not start the intention or not start, you're not going to expect to see the result before the candle work is complete. Sometimes, extremely rarely, we see movement before the candle spell is even done. That sometimes happens, but I would say that happens in maybe 1 or 2% of candle spells, maybe not even that. 1% of candle spells does the manifestation happen while you're burning the candle. So it's not that it never happens, but we can say virtually it isn't expected that while you're burning the candle you're going to see a result. If you do, it's a super good sign. If you see something moving or a message or something while you're burning the candle, that's a really good sign. So we have 3 markers, the 3 M's: messages, movement, and manifestation. And we look at those 3 markers over time. So to have a spell, let's say you're doing a love spell and you complete your candle for your love spell work, we're going to look at 3 markers: 3 days, 3 weeks, and 3 months. So within 3 days-ish, you don't have to be, anal about it. 3.5 days. Oh my God, it came 3.5 days, or it came on the 4th day. It's 3 days is our general marker. 3 days, we should see some kind of message from the universe. Well, you have to know what a message from the universe is. A message from the universe is not the person calling you. That's something else that we're going to talk about next. A message from the universe is, I'm seeing 222 everywhere. That's a message from the universe. Or my lover's name is Susie and I saw the name Susie on a billboard I was driving by. That's a message from the universe. I heard our favorite song on the radio. That's a message from the universe, right? It is not coming from the person. It is not coming from the source, but it is the universe giving you an affirmation that your work is on track, okay? That message you should see within the first few days of completing a spell. We'll say a few days, instead of 3 days, a few days. If you get that road marker, you're in good shape. If you don't, you might have to go back and do a different spell or do a different kind of spell or do the spell over again. Depends. But within 3 days of completing your candle, within a few days, you should see that message. The second marker that you're looking for is within a few weeks. Within a few weeks, you should get movement. Movement isn't your final culmination. Movement is something is improving in that situation. If you're doing a job getting spell and you get someone calling you in for an interview, that's movement. Even if you don't get the job, they called you in for an interview, that's movement toward getting a job. Your beloved likes something on Instagram and they never like anything you post. That's movement. A text message saying, hey, when they haven't been texting you is movement. So we see movement in the right direction within a few weeks of completing that spell. Finally, manifestation, the final culmination of what you're wanting within a few months. Now, when I say within a few months, sometimes people go like, it's going to take 3 months for my spell to come to fruition. It might take 3 months, but it might take a day. It depends on how blocked the situation is. It depends on how much work this needs. It depends on like what's going on in the world, right? So when we're looking at manifestation, it can happen, any of these can happen between 1 day and a few days, 1 day and a few weeks, 1 day and a few months, anywhere in that spectrum. The reason we say a few months is because sometimes new people, new to doing magic, sometimes think it's like bewitched. I twitch my nose and the house is clean. Still working on that spell, by the way, trying to figure out how to clean my house by twitching my nose. That would be a really good one. Anyway, if you have the expectation that you're going to put in an intention for love to come into your life, or you're going to get a job, and then you finish your spell work and you're like, there's no job, then you'll get into a place of doubt. Then you'll get into a place of it's not working. You'll start to pull the energy back from your spell. That's not good. Never do you want to pull the energy back. Pulling the energy back is like, I'm going to do this spell for prosperity. It's not working. That's pulling that energy back in. You're not pushing it back out there. You got to go, I have faith in it. It's working. It's working behind the scenes. It's all going to come true for me. It's all going to work for me. Everything is going to work out for me. That push forward is what helps and supports your spell getting out there and getting done. All right. So when you do a love spell and you're like, I'm not seeing anything right away, it's like, oh, okay. First, I got to look for a sign. All right. I saw my sign. Great. All right. That gives you that little encouragement. So now, okay, now I'm looking for some movement. Oh, my person reached out to me. My person liked something on my Facebook. I called them and they called me back, or whatever. Positive movement in the right direction. And then final culmination of what it is that you're wanting within 3 months. If at any point you don't get one of those markers, you don't hit one of those markers, you don't get a message, you don't get a movement, or you don't get the manifestation, then what that's saying is that you need to go back and approach it a different way. Get a reading. See what's going on with the situation. Did you get the right spell? Like maybe there's a spell that you think, oh, I want to come to me spell, but maybe something to influence their thinking might be better, or maybe something to open up the roads might be better, or maybe something to pull in your own self-love and to give yourself more magnetism is what's needed. So you might have to approach it in a different way, because it's not one size fits all. Trust your intuition though. You chose a come to me spell. Trust that come to me spell, put it out there, have that intention that your lover is going to come to you, and then let it do its thing. Don't pull the energy back by doubting it. Don't pull the energy back by going, are we there yet? Come on, lady, get my spell going. It's like it needs to marinate, and it's going to marinate as much as it needs to marinate, depending on how stuck your situation is. An easy situation will turn around quickly. A more tangled ball of yarn might need more than one thing worked on spiritually. So just see how you do and see how it works over the next 3 months. If you want to support it by doing other work at the same time, like, it doesn't mean you have a choice. You can sit and wait for the spell to work over 3 months and just sort of sit and see, have confidence. I did my spell and I'm going to just wait and see that final culmination, that final outcome, that manifestation that I'm wanting. Or you can be, I did my spell, but I still feel like I want to do something else to help it along. Maybe I'll carry a mojo bag that will give me a sense of empowerment, or maybe I will put that, maybe I'll do some gratitude journal work where I'm writing down my gratitude journal every day. Anything can be there to support it. So it doesn't mean, sometimes people say, don't do more than one spell for a certain situation. I say that is not the issue. If you want to do 20 spells toward the same outcome, great. If your intention is, oh, good, that spell is working and I'm going to give it some more energy by doing some more spell work toward it. that's fine. But if what you're doing is going, oh, that spell didn't work, I have to do another spell, you're wasting your time because you've already pulled back the energy from that other spell. And now you're going to do another one. And when that doesn't work, you're going to pull the energy back from that one. You know, it's a waste of time and money at that point. So one spell sent out with a really clear positive intention and a peace and a trust in it is great. 10 spells sent out with peace and trust and faith in that they're going to work is also great. You can do as many or as few as you want. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so Meltem says, how do I get someone to unblock me and communicate with me? I also want to remove a bunch of people from my target's life as they have messed him up so he won't talk to me as a result. I need to fix this ASAP. All right, so there's two situations here. One is unblocking or, well, there's three situations: talk to me, unblocking, and gossip stop, right? So not addressing your particular situation because you're telling me stuff, but I'm not doing a reading. So it's like having a diagnosis without having the doctor see you, you know? These are my symptoms. Well, it could be this, it could be that. But I'll give you some general things that can be helpful for these things. One is the open roads work or the blockbuster work, depending on how blocked you are. Have they sincerely blocked you, haven't spoken to you in a year, blocked you on all social media, blocked your phone number? Then you might need a blockbuster. That may be a bit of a tough situation. You could try open roads. But if they've just like not talking to you, then you could probably try an open roads, do open roads work. You could also do Speak to Me spell kit. Speak to Me spell kit is a lips candle with Talk to Me oil. So you could use Talk to Me oil on a lips candle. That's a great one for getting communication open. If there was an argument, you can calm it down with a blue candle. If it's just no communication, you can open it up with an orange lips candle. Those are all kinds of options you can use. Getting rid of the unhelpful people. That one would be, we have a brand new candle. That's an amazing, powerful, cool candle. It's the See No Evil, Speak No Evil, Hear No Evil candle. So you know there are these they're called the three wise monkeys in Japanese legend. And because it comes from the Japanese name for them means, I don't remember the details of it, but it means like, Hear No Evil is the name of the monkey and See No Evil is the other name of the monkey, and so on. So it's these three monkeys. One has his hands over his eyes, one has his hands over his ears, one has his hands over his mouth. This is a beautiful candle for getting multiple people to stop gossiping and stop bad-mouthing you, stop talking about you. It's a great candle for that. Beautiful candle. I would recommend getting that in black because black is like hard control. You want to stop them from doing that. That's one option. If they're talking about you and you want them to just talk better about you, then you could use blue to heal it. You know, there's a beautiful other option there. You can use energetic purification oil. You can use protection oil. You can use reverse negativity oil. Those are all great oils when you're trying to do gossip stop work. Okay. So I'd recommend the 2-3 candles. You know, you can do that or use the oils, work with the oils, any of those things that we talked about working with oils, that would be great too. Okay. Nina has a question. What is a good spell using a honey jar relating to getting over a breakup or life transformation, sweeten a situation for yourself? So you're trying to do a honey jar on yourself, it sounds like. Well, here's what I'm going to say. When you're doing spell work on yourself, you can do a candle, but a candle lends itself better to sympathetic magic work. It's not saying that you can't do a candle for yourself, but you actually have a better source of doing that magic, which is your own body, because you have access to your body and you can do things to your own body. Meaning you can put oil on yourself. You can take a bath on yourself. You're willing and able to do that work directly on your body. You can drink a tea that you've charged with something. You can eat a food that you've charged with something. So those things that are actually tangibly, physically on you, I kind of lean toward doing those when I'm talking about doing work for myself rather than burning a candle for myself. You can burn a candle for yourself, but it's almost like a little distant. If you feel inspired, if you love candle work, if it's like where your creative juices flow and you love doing it, I'm not going to say don't do it for yourself. But if what you're working on is your own internal stuff, you could do a candle, I guess, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Let's just say that. Honey jar. So a honey jar is for sweetening someone towards you. So using a honey jar on yourself would be the essence of like, I want to be sweeter to myself, more self-care. But then where my brain goes is like, well, then do the self-care. But you may love to play with fire and you may love a candle, so I'm not going to say no. If you want to heal your heart, with it, if you're trying to heal something, then lavender or blue candles, light blue candles, are really, really good for healing. Those can kind of smooth over situations that are painful situations, calm, angry energy, or hurt energy. It's very healing. So blue, lavender, or white. If you can't find blue or lavender, you can use a white candle on the honey jar. You can use all the herbs for healing, which would be cornflower is really good, lavender is really good, althea is really good. What else would I recommend off the top of my head? Not knowing what your particular situation is, I can't speak to it directly, but those are kind of general herbs that can be used for calming, soothing, healing. You can use also some herbs for elevating mood. Cacao beans are really good for that. Allspice is really good for that. Those are ones. Benzoin is really good for that. Those are all good for like mood lifting, bringing back happiness, all of those things too. Okay. Farah says, given the question for Madame Pamita, that's all you get, lady. No choice today. Given the current climate, what's a good way to start and end the day magically? Do you cleanse in the morning and night? What are good oils to put on after you cleanse? Oh, this is a great question. Okay. Love that question. I have started, so we're talking about the psychic hygiene again. Going back to your psychic hygiene, what can you do to keep your mood up, to keep your bubble of peace and tranquility and lack of stress, calm, happiness, energized energy? How do you keep that bubble around you? So there's a lot about like how you interact and who you interact with in the world and how you interact in the world, and the limitation of things that are draining to you, and more giving yourself more of the things that are nourishing to you and your spirit. And so you kind of have to decide for you. I'll tell you what my practice is, but it may be different for you. It might be different for you. So one of the things that I started doing is the first thing in the morning, instead of looking at the news on my phone, I started doing a gratitude journal work again. Like I'd done it, off and on over the years, and I got out of the habit of it. And so I'm back on that habit again of doing my gratitude journal every morning. Gratitude journal is like 15 minutes in the morning. You write down one page of what it is that you appreciate in your life right now, which is a mood lifter. And you write down your gratitude intentions. That's like, all my loved ones, all my clients, everybody's safe and healthy. All of them are protected. Everything that you want to happen, you can put down on that second page. And that seems to be great for me personally, to help start my day in a really positive way, in a way that feels nurturing for me. And it gets me out of the obsession of like what's going on in the world, right? I don't need to know what's going on out there because I'm here and I get my news through my boyfriend. He's my only news source, pretty much. Then, throughout the day, I might drink some tea. I might have some hibiscus tea, which is we think of it as like a love tea. Hibiscus is a really sensual, passionate love tea, but I love hibiscus tea. And I often do it for like self-love, like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't hurt to like, you can say, oh, my partner is really attracted to me with that. But you can also use it for self-love, or you can use lemongrass. Lemongrass tea is a beautiful herb to release and let go of what doesn't serve you. So you make that tea. I've got a beautiful article on how to turn a tea into a potion with a list of all kinds of teas that you can make with herbs and what they're good for magically. So you can, find an herb that you like and you like to drink, and you can make some tea and you can hold your hands over it and say your intention of what it is. And then you're taking it in and you're doing like a cleanse from the inside out. It's a beautiful thing to do. Then at the end of the night, I often take a bath. I take a handful of sea salt, handful of Epsom salt. I add some oil to that, whatever is on my mind that day. If I feel like I need more empowerment, I might use Queen Elizabeth oil. If I feel like I need more confidence, I might use Supreme Confidence oil. If I feel like I need more, I'm feeling stressed out and burnt out and crazy, I might do Peace and Tranquility oil. So it depends on like my mood, maybe different things, different days. Add a few drops of that. That's a super easy, basic bath spell, cleansing bath. You can use bath crystals that are prepared. When the bath crystals are prepared, you have herbs in them, you have colors in them. So they're a little more, they got a little more juice to them. But, the quick and dirty bath, if you're not doing a specific cleansing bath for a certain thing, quick and dirty bath is fine. I don't think dirty bath sounds good. A quick bath with a handful of sea salt and a handful of Epsom salt is fine, and some oil added in. Afterwards, I put powerful protection oil on me. It's one of my favorite oils. It smells amazing. It's like one of my favorite smells. It smells like frankincense and myrrh. Powerful protection it's a different kind of protection oil than anybody else's protection oil that's out there, I have found, and I've tried a lot of them. I haven't tried them all, so I can't say that there's none like it, but everything I've tried, there's nothing like my powerful protection oil. It's like a cloud of incense around you that's making you invisible to all that negativity out there. That's fine by me. I want to be invisible. I want any negativity to not see me, whatever that is, whether that's a germ, whether that's a negative person, whether that's a government official or whatever craziness is out there. This is like, these are not the droids you're looking for, which is one of my favorite kinds of magical workings to do. Glamour magic, right? You don't see me. You don't see me. So I'm visible to the people that I want to connect with, and I'm invisible to the people and institutions and things out there, the negativity out there that I don't want to connect with. And so that's a really helpful one. So that's a little routine you can incorporate. And I think that one of the things with working with the oils that is really important, and it's one of the things that my friend Jim Barker, I don't know if Jim's here today, but he's my friend, the palmist, who, by the way, is having a palmistry class that's coming up that is going to be amazing. It's palmistry in one day. And if you looked at my last email that I sent out, I had a special discount for people. I'm going to be in that class. I'm going to be a student in this class. I've learned a little bit about palmistry over the years, but I'm really feeling like I know he's my teacher. Like he's really going to teach me so I can really, really do it. And not in a half-assed way, but really do it. Anyway, Jim we always joke around about smellomancy, so there's like chiromancy, which is palm reading, and there's, geomancy, right? We call it smellomancy, which is when you take an oil and you smell the oil, and if the smell you feel attracted to that smell, that's the oil you need to work with. If you're like not feeling the smell, then that's not the oil that you should work with. So your sense of smell will guide you onto what oils will work for you. So even on a day-to-day basis, I might say, well, I kind of feel like I want to use, magnetic attraction oil. Let me see how I feel about the smell today. Because I made that oil, obviously I'm going to like all the smells, but some days I'm feeling, no, not really feeling it. So that tells me I don't need magnetic attraction that day. If I'm like, Peace and tranquility smells really good to me today. That I know that's what I need for the day. So I sometimes let my nose guide me onto what oils are good for me. Now, if you don't know, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you order stuff from my shop, we always send little samples of the oils and little samples of the incense. And then sometimes if you order a big thing of incense, along with the orders, we send samples along with the orders. So you can try out those oils little bit by little bit, to see, oh, there's a little sample. How does this smell to me? Does it smell good to me? And if it smells good to you, then that's a good oil for you to work with. If it doesn't smell good to you, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It's fine. It's not the thing that you need to work with. Sometimes people are like, supreme confidence, I'm good. Doesn't smell good to me today, or it doesn't smell good to me ever. It's like, you're good then with your confidence. Your confidence is good. So that's not a thing that you need support on, right? So trust your smellomancy powers. So anyway, there's a little side note there. Okay. So Murphy Pizza says, when you lose faith because all your attempts at prosperity and success keep blowing up in your face year after year, and despite yours and others' magical help, you just can't win. How can you change things? My love, you need to go listen to my podcast right now, episode 5. I think it's episode 5. Kind of one of those lower numbers. Anyway, there's a podcast episode, how to deal with magical discouragement. How to deal with magical discouragement. It's a big topic. So if you have been discouraged because you haven't been finding success, this is the podcast you need to listen to, the episode you need to listen to, because it's going to explain it all to you, how to do it. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. If you have listened to it, you need to implement those things that I talk about in that episode. All right. It's too much to talk about here. We don't have that much time. So that's what I'm saying. Go listen to the podcast, you guys. I have to make some more podcast episodes this week, tonight, maybe, or tomorrow. I gotta work on that because I haven't got anything for this Wednesday yet. Juan is asking, hi, Miss Pamita, is there a spell to keep your business going? Lots of spells to keep your business going. Lots of spells to keep your business going. So I have tons of spell kits, from little like $8 spell kits to big candle magic spell kits on how to keep your business going, to how to attract clients. I mean, if I was going to say to you, like, one thing that I would do if I were going to have 2 oils for everybody in the world, like, what 2 oils do you need? And with those 2 oils, you can do 95% of magic. You need an energetic purification oil to get rid of any of the negativity. And you need a magnetic attraction oil to attract in all your good things, whether it's love, money, business, clients, whatever, opportunities. Attraction oil, energetic purification oil to get rid of things. With those 2 oils, you leave me on a desert island, that's all I need, is those 2 oils. Everything else, I'll attract the person to come and rescue me from the desert island with the magnetic attraction oil, and I'll get rid of all the dangerous things on the desert island, all the mosquitoes with their diseases, and the, I don't know, bears or whatever on the island. So those 2 oils, you can do everything with those. I love oils. I can't talk enough about them to you guys, because they are like so flexible. You can do so much with oils. They're so easy. They're inexpensive. You can do it on the fly. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you can do great magic with them. $12 bottle of oil, and you can do so much magic with it. You can make a spray. You can put it on your body. You can put it in your bath. You can put it on, like I said, you can put it on something that someone else touches. So super basic. You want to bring in good things in your life, and you want to get rid of bad things in your life. Energetic purification, magnetic attraction. It's perfect combo. I can do any spell. 95% of spells can be done with those 2 oils. Okay, Lazara says, I have enjoyed watching your YouTube videos. I did my very first spell ever, and I think it didn't work. There's an example of putting it out there and pulling it back, so don't do that. It was a love spell with a red candle. It's been 6 weeks, and I haven't heard from the guy. All right, so you need to find a different approach. So you either need to get a reading. That's always really helpful. I talk about, when I do spell work for people, I always recommend that they do a reading with me first. And I'll tell you why. Because there may be underlying issues that you have to look at before that guy can come to you, right? Is he Is he feeling closed off because he had a bad relationship before and he's like not interested? Is he maybe not your guy because he's not not that you're not good enough for him, but he's not good enough for you? I mean, there could be that aspect as well. So get a reading with a trusted reader. It could be me, it could be someone else, whoever, and see what the real underlying situation is there. Because, or trust your own intuition. If you're like, yeah, I think he had a bad relationship when his ex cheated on him. Okay, then you need to do something to clear his head and to get him thinking about you. Do a skull spell, or you need to do a candle spell to heal his heart because his heart was broken before, or maybe do a spell to attract your perfect partner to you and not be focused on that guy, but actually bring in your highest and your best. There's lots of options of things that you can do. But if it hasn't worked over 6 weeks, it's okay. Not every, it's fine. Not every spell works. I mean, that's the reality of it. If we don't approach it in the right way, sometimes spells fall flat. It happens. Just do something else. Do something besides a candle spell. Wear a mojo bag to attract him. Do a honey jar to get him moving if he's really stubborn and he's really resistant, right? So there's lots of things that you can do. Work up a beeswax poppet. There's a video I have on how to make a beeswax poppet out of a candle. You don't even have to make it. You just get a candle and use it as a doll. So there's lots of things that you can do. And maybe the candle wasn't the right solution. It's kind of like, I always say that magic is like medicine, right? Magic is like medicine. Sometimes you have a symptom and you go to the drugstore, you order it online now. You think you know what you need. I need Dayquil because I got this, right? And you get the Dayquil and it doesn't solve the problem. Well, you're not a doctor, you're not diagnosing it. So then you go to the doctor to get the diagnosis and the doctor's like, oh, you don't need Dayquil. What you need is this antibiotic over here, right? So it doesn't matter if you try the over-the-counter medicine and it doesn't work. I mean, you're miserable for longer, but you can change it and you just go to, find out more information about it or try a different over-the-counter medication. It's like, I don't get too uptight about my magic. If I put out magic and I don't see an instant result, I just do something else, and I just say, okay, that one's going to do whatever it's going to do, but I'm going to put out a spell with a different intention, or I'm going to try a different kind of working. And that's the way to work magic. You don't want to pull back on your magic, right? I did a spell, but it didn't work. It's pulling back on your magic. So I'd say put a spell out there for him, and then maybe it's working in a way you don't know. Let's do something else. If it hasn't worked within, if you haven't seen any movement in 6 weeks, then you can try something else. And you don't need to get really nervous about it or upset about it. It's just like, okay, I tried that medicine, that vitamin, and I need something else. Okay, I'll try something else. So, all right, last question. Okay, Wayne is asking the question, can you influence one of a couple instead of a breakup spell? That's a little harsh when he only wants the partner to be open to change instead of breaking up. You can do a spell for anything. So if you're looking to influence someone's thinking about something, then you work with a skull candle. Skull candle is to influence someone's mindset. So what I'm kind of intuiting from what you're saying, Wayne, is that there's a couple and one of the couple wants to have an open relationship and the other one doesn't want to have an open relationship. And so you as an outside person are trying to help this person get the partner to think in more open ways about having an open relationship. I would do a skull spell to do mental influence spell kit. You can do a skull spell and try and influence that person to think in a different way. Orange candle, there's our open roads energy, open up the mind, right? Open orange candle, open roads, very gently opening up the mind. All right. We're at 5:59 Pacific time, 5:59. Maybe some other time where you are. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me, like old school times, here by myself, me, myself, and I, here with you guys. It was so wonderful to hang out with you. I loved your questions. So much fun answering those questions. Love you guys so much. I want all of you, you know, you are all in my prayers and my thoughts. I always put out every day an intention that all my clients are safe and protected and well, that you're all in environments that are safe, that you're having peace, that you are using this time actually in ways that are expansive. Because even in a time that doesn't feel expansive, we can do our internal work, we can do our spiritual work, we can learn new things, we can expand our minds, we can expand our hearts, we can expand our spirit. We can do those things during this time. That there is no limit to that. This is the interesting part of this. I've been doing a lot of spiritual work around how do I take the thing that feels challenging and find the gift in it. It's a big thing. How can we find the gift in this? And I think if we look for it, we can find the gift in this time. We can find the gift in what's happening now. It takes some spiritual heavy lifting to do, but we can find it. And so I kind of challenge you guys to find the gift in whatever situation you're facing right now, to find that possibility of something good coming out of something that's hard. Because I think you guys are up for it. I think you can do it. All right, you guys. So next week, my guest is going to be Phoenix LaFay. Oh my gosh, I'm very excited about that. Phoenix is a dear, dear friend of mine. She's the author of What is Remembered Lives, and a new book that's coming out called Walking in Beauty. She's an amazing, dear, sweet, wonderful, amazing, very talented magical worker. She will answer, she knows a lot about hoodoo. She will answer about hoodoo and folk magic. She knows a ton about it. Her book that's out now, that What is Remembered Lives, is about ancestors. So if you've got ancestor work questions, next week is going to be a great time. We're going to talk a lot probably about ancestors. Walking in Beauty is about glamour spells and beauty spells. So this is going to be I think that's what it's about. And that's coming out. So we can talk about that as well. Her book, What is Remembered Lives, is amazing. You want to check it out. It is out and available now. And you can ask her your questions about ancestor work. So I hope to see you then. Have a beautiful, blessed week, you guys. I appreciate you guys so much and love getting together. This is the highlight of my week, is getting together with you and getting together with my guests. So hopefully we'll see you next week. I look forward to that. And what else is going on? Oh, new podcast coming out on Wednesday. I have to record it tonight or tomorrow. I guess I'm going to do it tomorrow and it'll come out on Wednesday. So if you want to be a sponsor on my podcast, it's really easy to do, by the way. It's $7. You can get a shout out for $7 and get a special shout out on my show and support the podcast. So if you want to find out how to do that, go to magicandthelawofattraction.com and you'll see a button at the top that says become a supporter, and I'll tell you all the ways. If you have a business, I can give a shout out to your business for $7. That's awesome. If you have a thing that you want me to promote, as long as it's not something terrible, I'll give you your money back if it's something terrible. But if you have something that you want to promote for $7, you can get promoted on my podcast. So that's a fun thing to do. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Beautiful blessings to you. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday, and have a great week. Bye, you guys.